So, today, friends, we are going to dive into the fascinating world of vocabulary. We'll explore why expanding our vocabulary is essential and discuss the challenges or problems that we face in this area. And most importantly, we'll find ways to overcome these challenges by discovering exciting ways to make vocabulary learning fun and engaging. So we cannot deny the fact that vocabulary forms the foundation of effective communication in any language, be it any language, German, French, whatever. There's this beautiful quote you can see on the screen. The more words you know, the more opportunities you have. So this quote also emphasizes the importance of vocabulary in opening doors to various opportunities and possibilities, especially in these times when communication skills are so crucial. So the more words our students would know, the better they can express themselves, they can make their writing more interesting, and of course, leave a lasting impression. So this is a very beautiful quote by Henry Hazlitt that I couldn't resist sharing with you all. A man with a scant vocabulary will almost certainly be a weak thinker. The richer and more copious one's vocabulary, the greater one's awareness of fine distinctions and subtle nuances of meaning. So very eloquently, he explains that how, if the vocabulary is limited, this would restrict one's ability to think or express ideas effectively. If somebody knows only a few words, obviously they cannot express themselves properly. It'll be difficult for them to articulate their thoughts and convey ideas. On the other hand, if someone knows words and they understand the fine differences of meaning that are there, the fine nuances that I would like to say. So their thinking becomes more fertile and more precise. They can express their thoughts accurately. So let me give you an example. Now, suppose somebody says, let's talk about the project. So it suggests that they just want to have a casual general conversation about the project. In contrast, if somebody says, let's discuss the project. Now, obviously, it indicates that they want maybe a more deeper or a more thorough conversations. They want to analyze the thing. So when our children have strong vocabulary, they'll definitely understand these fine differences. Words are the building blocks of thought. Very true. They are like bricks to construct our thoughts, to connect to others. Knowing vocabulary enhances comprehension of not only written or spoken language. It enhances all the four domains of language, like we call them, LSRW, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So a rich vocabulary actually allows the students to express their ideas and thoughts accurately. We have often seen that our children, struggle with words. They keep using the same words over and over again. Now, suppose they have to say, Sonia has a big house. But if the house is bigger than big, then the only expression they have is that it is very big. So in verbal casual communication, we can still understand, they can convey by stressing on the word very. But this is a very limited way of expressing. Children should have words in their vocabulary to say, like something, they may say that it's a huge house, or she has she has an enormous house, something of that sort. So whenever anything has to vary in intensity and connotation, they lack these words. So learning vocabulary is important as it contributes significantly to their expression and overall language and proficiency. Now, what are the challenges that we face in this area? I had once read this very beautiful quote: the limits of my language are the limits of my world, which I guess we all can relate with. Similar thought is highlighted in English textbook for class 11. Teachers teaching these classes would know. It is a statement by a student where he says, I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to say it, which very appropriately describes the problem that our students face. So there are many challenges in teaching a vocabulary. Also, traditional language teaching has always prioritized teaching of grammar over vocabulary. How many classes do we take of vocabulary if we compare it to grammar? So vocabulary was always considered to be secondary to mastering language. The Cinderella sister of grammar, and also been given that stepsisterly treatment. So, and also it was commonly believed that vocabulary has to be caught and it cannot be taught. So no clear method to teach vocabulary was defined. If it was taught, then it was only through those lists and memorizations. Obviously, that was not an effective way for retention, because anything that children will learn, they'll not remember that. Yes, ma'am is talking about the, Aradhana ma'am is talking about the complexity of English vocabulary here. So here I would like you all to see this video.
So take us through your finding, I know dissertation-wise, take us through your finding then about gameplay, game-based learning, gamification, whichever the terminology we choose to use. What have you taken from that, and how are you then embedding this into your school and spreading the word about this then so that more educators can learn about it?
Yeah, so funny story. When I first started my doctoral program, we were required to take this class on gaming. And I remember saying such silly things as like, gaming, what? What does that have to do with serious education? What is this nonsense about fun and game and play? Like, I remember saying that actually in a class, and my professor, Dr. Chan, he was so patient and so cool. He was like, you will see.
The winner alone costing him approximately $2.7 million, making the entire batch value.
Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So this video highlights that what is the potential of games? How can games help to enrich the learning experience, and they can contribute significantly to educational outcomes? Initially, the speaker also believed that games were frivolous activity, they were not worthy of classroom time, and they were not related to serious education. However, her perspective shifted later on. So games can also be a very powerful educational tool, and they can help students to get more involved. They can think critically, and more importantly, they can work in a collaborative manner together. So today we are going to explore some interactive methods to boost vocabulary acquisition. So Louis Mercier had said, "What we learn with pleasure, we never forget." So this very clearly explains the idea that enjoyable learning experiences lead to lasting memories and knowledge retention. So games, also help children to get rid of their inhibitions when it comes to using the language, actually. We all know that, students are so inhibited and they don't want to speak. So games make them more creative, they become more spontaneous with the language, and they can overcome their shyness when they're playing games. So they would not even know that they're using the language. And also games go a long way to reduce anxiety, and they increase, positive feelings and self-confidence of children. So are you all ready to play some games with me? Let's make learning more enjoyable, more engaging, more interesting, and more fun. So this is our first game. It's called Bingo. It's a very interesting game. And, this game requires minimal preparation and materials on the part of the teacher. We all know that we are so occupied in so many things. So anything which requires elaborate preparation does not work for us. So the only thing that we need is bingo cards, a vocabulary word list, and markers. So let me explain how this game is played. We all are familiar with Housey. We all play Housey, don't we? So this game is played exactly like Housey. Each student receives a bingo card with various vocabulary words written on it in squares. Now the teacher calls out either the meanings or the synonyms of these words. She would not call out the words, but some clues or some hints she'll provide the students. Now the students will listen to those clues or those hints, and accordingly they'll mark the corresponding word on the bingo card. Now, the first student to complete a line, like we'll already have set some rules that, okay, we'll play for lines, we'll play for the entire card like we play in Housey. So these lines can be horizontal lines, vertical lines, diagonal lines. So the child who finishes the line first, he will shout bingo and he'll win that round. Let me first show you the bingo card that will further clarify. As you can see, this is a bingo card. Now, this card consists of 9 vocabulary words organized neatly in 3x3 format. Now, if you wish so, you can even take a 4x4 format or a 5x5 grid also. And it all depends on how much time you have in your hand or how many students you are playing it with. So important is that we have to make sure that the arrangement of words should be different in different bingo cards. Otherwise, everybody is going to win the same line together. So now suppose the teacher says, this word means victory or achievement. Now the student, if he knows that what is that word which means victory, like here, if we check this card, it is triumph. So the student will strike out the word triumph. Next, the teacher says, okay, this word means maybe a puzzling situation or a riddle or mystery. Can anybody from the audience tell what this word is? It means a puzzling situation. It is one word out of the words shown on the bingo card. Anybody? You may unmute. Yeah.
Conundrum, ma'am. Conundrum.
Yes, ma'am. Perfectly all right. It's conundrum. So now the child is going to strike off the word conundrum. Okay. Next clue. Our next word is something which is very strong or which has the quality to bounce back. Anybody?
I'm resilient.
Resilient, yes. So you see that in this case, if there are these 3 words were in a diagonal line. So if all these 3 words the child has struck off, then he'll shout bingo. So, and he'll win this round. But, you know, we all know that, vocabulary is best learned in context. We don't want to teach them only the words. So we'll not end the game here. We can add a little variation in the game. So what we'll do is we'll ask the child that he should at least use one word out of these 3 words into a sentence of his own. So if you want to add on to the difficulty level, you may ask the child to use 2 words or all the 3 words into sentences. So this will, in a way, if the child is unable to do that, then we'll declare a bogey or we'll disqualify the child and the line remains. Like, you know, even in Housey that happens. If there are 2-3 people who together get one line, it's declared bogey. So here in this case, if the child is not able to use into sentences, then he does not qualify the round. So the game will continue for all lines for the entire card. But you know, our children are smarter than us. So we have to be particular when they are making sentences, when they're framing sentences. You know, it once happened with me in the class. I had asked one student to frame a sentence from the word procrastinate. And the student told me, ma'am, procrastinate is a very difficult word. Now, what do we do with sentences like these? Anyways, so we have to be careful here. So you see that this game encourages students to grasp words, their meanings, and usage beyond basic meanings. So they're applying vocabulary words into practical contexts, and they're able to retain and recall words this way. Over the time, they'll remember these words. So this is our next game. This is called Balloon Juggler. Again, very little things we need. This game requires only an inflated balloon. So let me apprise you the rules. Now what we do is, we'll call a student, and the student has to name 5 words in a given category. And what that category will be, we'll provide the student. Now, while he's speaking these words, he'll have to keep touching the balloon and make it fly with every word. I mean, he has to juggle the balloon. So 1 word, 1 touch. If he touches the balloon and says nothing, or if he or she is not able to balance the balloon and the balloon falls, then the game is lost. So let us see how this is played.
Words to describe disposition of my friend are thoughtful, creative, competitive, introvert.
6 words to describe a place are attractive, crowded. Who I forgot?
So you see that this game seems very easy at first glance. But important point to note here is, as soon as we label it as a game, children become interested. So they eagerly want to play, and through this fun activity, they end up revising and expanding their vocabulary. So the game will help our young learners to revise their vocabulary. And for senior learners, this can be a very good icebreaker. For young learners, we can use it maybe to make them learn the names of vegetables or fruits or colors or means of transport, and something of this sort. But for higher classes, like we can, suppose we are teaching descriptive paragraphs. So we may ask them words to describe hair. So now the children have to juggle the balloon and they have to come up with many words, like they may say curly, straight, frizzy, slick down, maybe silky. So you see that there's so many words that they'll come up with. And we may ask them for other things also, like they may have to describe appearance of their friend or maybe a person. So they may, they'll use many vocabulary words. My friend is chubby, or he's thin, or he's plump, or he's overweight, he's muscular. So lots and lots of practice of vocabulary is here. So it may seem super easy, but at the same time, it is super engaging. So this is our next game. It's called Vocabulary Charades. Now this game does not require any material, and you can play it as and when you want it. The objective of vocabulary charades is to reinforce vocabulary learning by acting out words without using spoken language. So it's exactly like dumb charades. Now, the rules, what we'll do is we'll divide students into 2 teams. We'll prepare a list of vocabulary words which will be suitable for our students' age group or proficiency level. We may even take words which we have taught them in some of the chapters recently. So we'll write down these words on some piece of paper, and we'll make some chits and then place them in a bowl. Now, each team will take turns. Each player from the first, we may call first team first. So the player from the first team will draw out a word from the bowl, and without showing it to his. Now, this player will have some set amount of time. We can set it accordingly. It may be 40 seconds or 1 minute, whatever we want to give it to the child. And he'll have to act out the word without speaking or without using any words. So now the players of the opposite team, they'll have to guess the word based on his actions. Now they can shout as many guesses as they want, but it has to be within the time limit. So if the team guesses correctly within the time limit, they earn a point. If they fail to guess the word, then no points are awarded. So you'll see that players will incorporate a lot of creativity and imagination into their gestures. And, a lot of artistic flair they will add into it. And they're used to playing this game. We all play dumb charades. So accordingly, we can set our rules, and you'll see that the adrenaline level will go high, rushing high. And it's good for us because there'll be no sleeping children in the class. So here are some examples. Now, the first action is already there on the screen. The actor mimics, I guess the clue has the answer also. So the actor mimics swimming strokes or pretends to dive into imaginary water. I guess this is quite simple. The word is swim. Okay. Now, next, the actor bends their knees and leap into the air. So again, because I had to explain, so some clues are already there in it. So this is, when they have to jump. So this is how they'll show it. So we can set the difficulty level of words depending on what classes we are playing this game in. Okay. Now the actor walks leisurely with a relaxed posture as if taking a casual and enjoyable walk. Now, if you feel that the word is too difficult for students, you can help them with some clues, like clues or hints. We can tell them that how many letters are there in this word. Would anybody like to try what this word can be? Now, the actor is taking a very
Stroll.
Stroll, yes, it is Reema ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Perfect. Okay. Now the actor pretends to have difficulty walking smoothly. They could slightly bend on one knee and take a slow, uneven steps. They even
Limping.
okay, limping.
Limping.
It can be limp. It can be something else also.
Hobble.
Hobble, yes. So if you provide them with the number of letters that are there in the word, then you will not accept any other option. Okay, anybody who would like to act? How would the students do? They'll place their finger on their lips and they'll speak softly. So what is this word? Something of
Whispering.
Whispering.
Whispering, perfect. The word is whisper. So the actor laughs softly while covering their mouth with their hands. Something of this sort. Anybody? Giggle, yes, ma'am. Perfect, perfect.
Chuckling.
Next slide, please, ma'am. Our next game, this is called Vocabulary Jeopardy. Now, this is a fun quiz-style game inspired by the format of a popular television quiz show, Jeopardy. Those who have watched the show, they would know. Now, this game again requires little preparation and material. We need Jeopardy cards, which are very easy to make, and some markers. Okay, rules of the game. Now, vocabulary Jeopardy cards we need to make, and they would comprise of various categories related to vocabulary learning. Like, these categories may be synonyms, they may be adverbs, they may be adjectives, whatever you wish to teach them. Now, each category will contain questions of increasing difficulty, and they'll be represented by different point values. Now, these point values may be from 50 or 100 to 500, 600, depending on how many questions you're taking. Now, players will take turns choosing a category and point value. For example, like a player may say, if the player, I choose synonyms for 200 words. So what will the teacher do then? The teacher will read the corresponding question aloud because teacher will already has that list of questions. So the player who chose the question, he must then respond with the correct answer. If the player answers correctly, then he earns the specific points assigned to that question. Like if it was for 200 points, the student gets 200 points. However, if the player answers incorrectly, then you may pass the question to the other team. The other team may have opportunity to try and answer it, and they may earn the points instead. The player or the team with the highest number of points at the end of the game would win the game. Let me show you the Jeopardy card. Now you can see this card. You can see the categories written on the top and the point value is written below it. So these categories are verbs, adverbs, and adjectives. So similarly, you can have your own categories. Now value will keep increasing, and as the value increases, the difficulty level of the question also increases. So here are a few examples. Now, what action involves moving stealthily to avoid being noticed or detected? Okay, even before I could complete the question, I have the answer here.
Yeah,
Bharat-
sneak.
Yeah, answer is sneak. Right, perfect. What adverb describes the action done with a great speed or quickness? Now, the clue is also there. This is a 7-letter word.
Swift. Quickly.
Swiftly, yeah, because it's an adverb, so yeah. Okay, this is for 500 points now. If the students will be confident, so they'll choose questions with more value. What adverb means to do something in a confident and self-assured manner?
Boldly.
Boldly, yes. Perfect. Okay. What is the action of twisting or turning sharply? Yes, Bhati Khanna ma'am, answer is correct. Spin. It is to spin. See? Okay. What adjective describes something that is very large or huge?
Enormous.
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 Colossal.
Gigantic.
Gigantic. If it has 8 letters, yes, there can be many words. And this way we will get many synonyms as well. What is the term for someone who is extremely intelligent and quick-witted, like all our teachers here? Somebody who's quick-witted is from the letter B. Anyone?
Brilliant.
Yes, brilliant. Perfect answer. It's brilliant. What adverb means to do something with hesitation, caution, or uncertainty? When we are a little unsure, it is?
Skeptically, like.
Yes, skeptic. We can be skeptic, but then it has 11 letters in it. Cautiously, I'll have to count if it has 11 letters, or it can also be tentatively. Yeah. Okay. What adjective describes something that is difficult to understand or mysterious in nature? I have an answer, ingenious. But ma'am, it has 7 letters because the clue is already there. Something starting with a C.
Conundrum.
Conundrum, again, I guess, has more number of letters. The answer, please. Curious. No. Not very close. Yes, the answer is cryptic. So again, we can have an extension activity with this activity because we want our children to actually use these words. So we can have a story writing or storytelling activity Now what we'll do is we'll write down all the words on the boards and then, on the board, and then we'll ask children to use these words to write a story or a narrative. Now this can, if we want to have, we don't want to write a story, then we can have a collaborative story, what we call a round robin story, where, you know, students will take turns picking words from the board and adding one line to a story. And this is how they'll contribute to the narrative collectively. So we can encourage students to incorporate as many words as possible into their stories. But yes, of course, they'll have to maintain coherence and creativity. It has to come out like a story. Now, like we had a word mysterious in these questions. So can somebody start the story, or any other word that you wish to take? If you want, I can begin.
With the
Maybe
word
we can. Yes, ma'am.
with the word mysterious only?
No, any of the words that we had used, if you remember them, or else we'll have to go back on the same slide again. Okay, I guess we have forgotten the words. So the words were, I guess, enormous was there, mysterious was there, the few other words. Ma'am, can we go back on the same slide? One previous slide, or any slide? Tentatively is there, cryptic is there. One more slide, ma'am. Yeah. So enormous, brilliant. Anything that you can start a story with. Okay, once upon a time, there was a big, enormous forest. They may begin like this. Okay. So, and then the other child is going to add something into the story using the words that are there on the board, not any other word. Obviously, they can add their own sentences into it, but they should try to use as many words as possible. So then somebody can say that, yes, this was a very mysterious forest. And this goes on and on and on. You just have to begin. So after completing these stories, the students can share their creations with the group. And if the stories are good enough, they can also be shared in the magazine. So you see that this vocabulary Jeopardy is a fantastic tool for boosting their vocabulary skills and the extension activity of story writing. So they are not only learning words, they are practicing writing also, and they are using words from the game. So this is a step further. So this exercise reinforces new vocabulary by requiring players to use the words creatively, contextually, and in this way, they are solidifying their vocabulary as well as their retention. So they'll not forget. Once they have made the story, they'll not forget these words. Okay, here we have a new game. It is called word association. Now, word association game is a mental exercise or a group activity where participants respond to a given word with the first word that comes to their mind. Like instinctively, whatever comes to their mind, they have to speak once the first initial word has been given to them. So this way, they'll form a chain of interconnected words based on certain associations between the words. Now, let me tell you how it is played. Now you'll make the students sit in a circle, or it can be any group setting. Now the first student, he begins by saying the word aloud, which serves as the starting point for the game. Now the next student in the circle, he must respond quickly to a word that is associated or connected to the previous word in any way. It can be any kind of connection. It may be a synonym, antonym, whatever. Next slide, ma'am. Now there's some more rules. Like we have to take care that the words once spoken, they should not be repeated in the same round. And the students have to respond within a few seconds so that the game keeps flowing. They cannot take a pause, or they cannot hesitate. If they hesitate, then they'll be eliminated from the round. So this is important. So now you can see these examples on the screen. Actually, it's a kind of mind mapping, like mind mapping of words, or we can say brainstorming of words, but in an organized manner. So now, let me give you an example. Suppose the teacher begins with the word weather. Now, the students may come out with as many associations as they want. They may say snow, hail, windy, foggy, sunny, humid, hot. So this way you'll see that there will be number of winter weather words or summer weather words that will collect, and they can be written on the board, and then we can have some activity associated with that. So like you can see these examples on the screen. So the main word is there, and then the associations that have been used. So this game can be used as a very fun and creative way to explore connection between the words and concepts. So this will, stimulate thinking of students, and they'll become more imaginative. And also sometimes, it happens that children use very unique word connections. They may be bizarre, and you feel that, no, this is not connected. Then you may ask your students to explain their connections. So this way you will encourage participants to use the language in the class, and also you'll be making them think outside the box. So can we play a game? So our word is mountain. So anything that is associated to mountain, anything. But we have to be quick.
Summit, peak.
Okay, summit, peak, wonderful. 2 words. Huge. Anubha ma'am is saying huge. Wonderful.
Enormous.
Invincible.
Enormous. Sorry?
Invincible.
Invincible. Wow, wonderful.
Snowy. Snowy.
Snowy. Yes.
Lofty.
Lofty.
Plateau.
Plateau. Majestic, rocky, high. I can see in the chat box all these words are there. So very quickly you will, get a huge list of words. Again, now it's up to the teacher. She can do whatever she wants to do with those words. There can be any extended activity that we can plan. So this actually the objective of this word association challenge is to improve the word recall and vocabulary knowledge and quick thinking skills. So this also we are developing their thinking skills. So one after the other, they keep saying the words in continuous sequence. So this makes it very, very interesting. So this is our next game. So this game is called 4 pictures and 1 word. Now, how to play this game? This game can be played individually or in teams. Now, the teacher will have 4 pictures that she'll have to display. Now, if you have a smart board in the class, or this will be a little easier for you to play, or else you'll have to take the children in some language lab or wherever audiovisual is available. So there'll be 4 pictures displayed to the player, and there'll be a common word which will be hinted by all the 4 pictures. Like all the 4 pictures will be related to one single vocabulary word. The students or the players will have to guess that what that word is. Let me show you examples. So you see on the screen, there are these 4 pictures, and they're all pointing towards one word. What is this word?
Burden.
Weight.
Okay, weight, burden, yes. Heavy, yes. So if you are not specifying any weight, okay, yes. Strength, yes. So you see, these pictures can be linked to so many words. If you want one particular word, then you have to provide them with some other clues, maybe the number of letters or the beginning of the beginning letter of the word. So something of this sort can be provided. Next slide. Okay, like here you can see on this slide, there's a clue already provided. So we have to have this word only. Anybody? So what do you see on the slide? First one is we have water, we have some vegetables, then we have sunlight. Can anybody guess? Yes, ma'am. Ma'am says
Necessity.
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 Necessity. Yes, necessity or necessary. Anything of that sort, yes, would be the correct answer. Okay.
Snooze.
Snore, yes. This is
Snore.
yes, right. Snore. Okay. What is this word?
Fizzy.
Freeze.
Freeze.
Fluid. Is it fluid?
Fizzy.
Fizz. Fizz.
Fizz, fizz, fizz.
Fluid. Fizzy. Fizz.
Fizzy, fizzy, yes, it's
Fizzy.
fizzy, fizzy. So you see that, players use a lot of critical thinking and problem solving to deduce the common word of the given images. So repeatedly when they guess these words from these images, so it strengthens their memory and they can retain the word for a long time. So this is what we want because they come across many words, but they forget them. So once they have used the word in a game or they have used it in any of the extended activities, they'll always remember that word. So this game, this is our next game. It's called Hangman. Again, no special preparation is required in this game. So many of you must have played this game also. So let me show you how this is played.
To play Hangman, you'll need at least 2 players. First, one player comes up with a word or phrase for the puzzle. That player draws a dash for each letter in the puzzle, leaving a space between words. Then draws the gallows above the dashes. Now, the other player guesses letters one at a time that they think are in the secret word or phrase. If they guess right, the player who made the puzzle writes in the letter over any corresponding dashes. If they guess wrong, the player who made the puzzle draws a head hanging off of the gallows and writes down the incorrect letter for the guessing player to use as a reference. Each time the guessing player chooses a wrong letter, a new body part is added to the hangman. The hangman should consist of a head, a body, 2 arms, and 2 legs. If the guessing player correctly guesses the puzzle or fills in all of the letters before the hangman is complete, they win. If they don't, the player who came up with the puzzle wins. Once a player wins, switch roles so that the guessing player from the previous round is now the player coming up with the puzzle.
So what we are going to do in this game is that one player thinks of a word and he draws a blank line for each letter of the word. Now other player has to guess letters one at a time. So in case their guesses are correct, so those letters will be filled in the corresponding blank lines. But if the guess is incorrect, it will result in a part of stick figure being drawn. So now this stick figure, it is hanging at the gallows. Now it will comprise of, there's typically we follow, a particular sequence. It's first the head, then body, then left arm, left leg, and right leg. So the game will continue. If the word is fully guessed, then the guesser wins. If the entire stick figure is drawn and the word cannot be guessed, then the word chooser wins. So here, you see that the children will have to guess one letter at a time.
M. I know the word, can I?
Yes, please. See, we are the
C.
educators.
C like M.
It starts with an M, yes, but what's the word?
Mansion.
Mansion, right. Yeah, perfect. So something which is wise and insightful.
Does it start from P?
What's the
P.
word, ma'am?
Prudent.
Yes, it can be prudent as well. Yes.
Is it witty? Okay.
Sagacious. Yes, prudent is also correct. Okay, something which is noisy or chaotic. You can, in this game, you can choose the words that you have taught the students. So this will be kind of a revision. So the moment we enter the school and it's very noisy, what's that word? Starts with a C.
Chaotic. No.
Cacophony. We have a few more examples. This means to bounce back.
Resilient.
Resilient. Wonderful. Yes. Okay, now here it's the opposite of word trans. Sorry.
Fake.
Opaque. Yes, yes. So you can, keep easy and difficult words so that you can involve all the students. Its antonym is brave.
Coward.
Forward.
Cowardice.
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 Cowardly or coward.
Cowardice.
Yes, cowardice can be also be the word, right? So, but thing is that children will be telling it letter by letter, and in case their guesses are wrong, then we already have our hangman, then they lose. So there is a sense of urgency, there is a sense of challenge in this game. So this is motivating them to think quickly and accurately. So here, this is our last game. Guess the idiom. So let me tell you how we are going to play it. This is again very, very easy to play. And we want our children to improve their writing skills. It's not only about the words. There's so many, figurative devices that they can use. So what we'll do is the teacher would need a list of idioms, and she needs to prepare certain hints well in advance. Now she'll divide the students into teams. Now the teacher will provide a hint related to the idiom, and then the team has to complete the idiom. Now, if you want to add to the difficulty level, then the team should be able to explain the meaning of idiom for an additional point, or maybe again we can add some kind of writing task after this also. So let us play.
Ma'am, I am all ears.
I am all ears. I'm listening. The picture provides the clue. I'm listening. That's very interesting. I am all ears. Oh, this homework is easy. It is so easy.
A piece of cake. A piece of
A
cake.
piece of cake. You teach them this way, they'll never forget. It will be a piece of cake for them to learn new words and idioms. Okay.
Under the weather.
Under the weather.
I am under the weather. Yes. You have flunked the test again.
No use crying over spoiled milk. Spilled milk.
Spilt milk.
There's
No use crying over spilt milk.
Yes, yes. There's no use crying over spilt milk. Oh, you're so
As cool as cucumber.
you're as
You
cool
are as cool as cucumber.
you're as cool as a cucumber. Yes.
Don't try.
Wait, don't start yet. So it has got something to do with a horse.
Hold your horses.
Hold your horses, yes. So you see that your children will be so involved, they'll be so engrossed that you will have to ask them to hold their horses. So this is the power of games. So with this, we come to the end of the session. So let us continue to explore creative ways to make our learning fun and effective. If anybody would like to share any of the games that they have used in their class and it has been a successful activity, any game that you have played, because this is how we'll also improve and learn. So nowadays, you know, the problem is how to engage the students. The students, many a times they sit passively in the class. They're not interested, it appears. So how to engage them? Anybody who would like to share anything?
I remember whenever there's a substitution, so engaging little children becomes a task. So sometimes I love to play the word chain game. So the
Okay.
moment they feel, you give them a clue and then they start hopping with the words that they have in their mind, and then they feel pretty inclusive. And the
Yes.
moment the word is already spoken and somebody fails to hear, so that's how we test the listening skill also, that how attentive they are while listening to the word. So if there is any kind of repetition, then you are the loser in that game at that point.
Yeah, very nice. It seems similar to word association game also.
Yeah.
So that's that. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. So my
Dear ma'am, Dipali
Yes.
ma'am, can we have a PDF because these games are so interesting and our children would be benefited.
Sure, ma'am, definitely.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
send you. Thank you, ma'am. So thank you all. I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks to Dr. A.K. Sharma for giving me the privilege to lead this session. I'm also deeply grateful to my principal, Ma'am Ajishri Sharma, for reposing her trust in me. My special thanks to my co-teacher, Srimati Ruchi Malik ma'am, for her invaluable technical assistance, and Dipali Pradhan ma'am for her excellent coordination and support. And of course, all my friends who are here, who have attended the session, thank you everyone for your time and attention. So,
Thank you, Dipali ma'am, for the wonderful ideas that you have shared with all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
It was
you, ma'am,
indeed a
for
very
wonderful
captivating
session.
session, ma'am.